Hi, this is Erin, and I'm the owner of ECKOArt, Echo Certified Sound Healing, Transcendent Lux Lucis, Psychic and Paranormal Coaching for Experiencers, and Infinitus Lux Lucis. And for those of you who don't know and may not have seen my previous videos, of which there are quite a few, I am doing a bit of a personal deep dive into my ancestral lines, and I am sharing them for various reasons. About a decade ago, did a lot of research into my ancestral lines and found a lot of really awesome stuff that I didn't know was there. A lot of it I did know was there, and so it was confirmation for what I'd been told. And for the last about 2 weeks, I've been doing a deep dive into the maternal side of my family, and for this video, I'm switching it up and I'm going into one line of the paternal side of my family. So I found a bunch of things that I didn't know were there, and I am sharing them. So this is supposed to be the Irish side of my family, and it's down one of the maternal lines within the Irish side of my family. And as you can see, not everyone here is Irish. So some of this was a surprise. Now, I have previously traced the Irish side back to the Tuatha De Danann, which is the Celtic gods, or gods, air quotes, and the Fae race. And they say they were mythological and that they didn't exist, but I traced direct lineage back, person to person to person. They exist. They existed. We'll just put it there. So this is completely different, and it's on the same side of the family. So here we're into, if you see Alfred the Great, there towards the center down lower, king of the Anglo-Saxons, he is Ethelstan's brother. So Ethelstan, I believe, was the king of Kent, and he was in, maybe you didn't, but if you watched the Viking series, Ragnar and Ethelstan were friends. So it was that Ethelstan. It would be him. Now, that show wasn't completely historical. Some of it was historical and some of it wasn't factual. So, for instance, Ragnar and Rollo were not even actually brothers. Rollo was from Denmark, Ragnar was from Norway. And I am descended from both of them, but that's for another story. So this whole king line and all of these counts and nobles that are in here, I did not know were in my ancestry. So I knew I had de Orleon down several different areas of my family on the other side. I did not know that de Orleon was anywhere here. I did not know I did not know that Charles II was in there. Now, I can't pop it up like I would have. What I'm doing right now is a voiceover because, unfortunately, I've recorded this thing 3 times. Something is not wanting me to put this one out. I mean, I don't know. So, and I get glitches with stuff. I've had a couple I've had to redo on the other side too, but not like this. This has been, and maybe it's just the energy of the day. I don't really know, but I'm doing this again, so you might see 2 pointers. So the Flanders line, I didn't know anything about. And as you can see, there's more than one of them. So this line right here, I knew about, but I didn't know that I had it. So that he's listed as an emperor, and his wife is tied to the House of Orleon, which I know I have on the other side of my family more than once. And where you see the word König, that means king, in case you didn't know, because I did not know. So that means king. And then if you see, I think it's Königin, that I'm saying that's queen. Over here you can see it. I'm interpreting that as queen. So it's a real shame I lost the first audio on this, because I think it was probably pretty good. Yeah, so there I'm explaining that means king and queen. And Pippin up here, I believe I think this is the Pippin that deposed the Merovingian king. So what we have is, like, I think from here forward, at the very least, is going to be the Carolingian line. So Pippin was a Carolingian. There's more than one Pippin, and there's more than one Pippin in this line. I think he's the one that deposed the final Merovingian king. And I definitely have a lot of them in my ancestry. But that can be kind of confusing, so I'm trying to go through and do a little research in between here and then explain it a little bit. Von Schwaben, I've seen that a lot of times in the last 2 weeks, and I didn't know we had that. This is going to be the precursor to Orleon. I think maybe I'll lay off the cursor for a minute here so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so that's going to be one of the earlier people in the line of Orleon. Von Haspengau, I knew I've had that in the other side, and then there's another Pippin, and then there's Saint Pippin. So I'm not sure if no, it wouldn't be him. It would be one of the kings. So I believe it was one of those other two. Probably the first one is the one that started the Carolingian dynasty. If I'm mistaken, then these people are also in the Carolingian dynasty. Which, if someone knows better than I do and you're watching this, don't be too harsh on me. I have done the research over the last few days. It's just for the purposes of this video. It's not in here because I can't do that with what I'm doing. And again, there's 3 saints here, which is really pretty interesting. I don't know what they did to be sainted, but definitely I've seen Saint Sarah is in several places in my ancestry, and she's not even actually officially a saint, but they recognize her to some degree. And more kings and a princess, and I think I don't know where those people are from. I don't really know anything about them. In a minute, Lombardy, I think, is in here, and that is Italy, but I'm not sure about this family. And it's in my ancestry a few times. I just haven't looked them up yet because it's really so many people. Like, this line of kings, I believe, is in several places. And that is a really interesting picture. It really kind of puts you in touch with the time period that you're talking about, which is 360 to 440. And here we're into Lombards and Lombardy, and that's going to be Italy, if I'm not mistaken. It says France, but this line connects in with the Romans here in a minute, so I'm pretty sure there's Italian links here. You see, I don't know where a lot of these places are, and, you know, I mean, that's the purpose of documenting them. See, I hover over the names so that it extends it so that I can see it, and so that it's documented so that I can go back and look it up later to research the people, and also so that you can see it. And if you want to learn anything about, you know, history or your own ancestry or whatever, then you can do that because you kind of have a timeline, and you have a difficult time doing that without the full name. So okay, so I have seen that Hun, the wife there that's a Hun. I've seen her in several places in my ancestry, so I've seen it on my maternal line. And I'm not really sure what's going on there. I don't know what that was about. Von Haspengau I've seen in more than one place. Crotobert is not, Crotobert, I don't know how you say that. He is not Merovingian. He's House of the Robertians. Again, not sure if I'm saying that right. But he has a name that looks like a lot of the Merovingian names, so I wanted to verify whether or not he was, and he's not. I think that Pippin right there is, I think that Pippin right there is actually, he might be the one that deposed the Merovingian king. I feel like he is. I feel like he's the one that did, so I'm not really certain, but boy, I hope there's nobody that knows a lot about history watching this. I sound so ignorant, but I mean, I had no way to know this stuff, so. And this word graph, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, probably I'm not. That means count. All I know about false graph is that it's dishes, so I'm not really sure if that's the same, like, if that comes from the word graph or not. And this guy was involved somehow with Clovis II, who is a Merovingian. He worked for him. So he's also Haspengau. Well, Haspengau and I don't know if Hespe, if that's, I don't know if I'm saying any of them right, but I've seen them a lot in my ancestry on both sides now, so. And feel free to pause this if you need more time to read it. Again, I'm probably going to come back in and put a slide over top. I'm going to layer it in and put that full write-up in here so that you can read the whole thing, because I didn't realize it was getting cut off. That old picture. And, you know, I mean, there may be a way to find whoever is supposed to follow that in the line, but precede that in the line. There's so many people that I don't know if I'll ever get to do that, but I'm sure the information on some of these people is somewhere. The name Dijon, the name Dijon, like mustard, is there, and I've not seen that anywhere before, so that's the first place I've seen that in my family line. And I zoomed in on that picture because I think it's really cool to look at the pictures of the people, so... I don't really know anything about those people. I haven't seen them anywhere that I know of in my lineage previous to this. So I went from the one extension down to that extension and extended that branch out. So we had been on the previous branch and now we're on this other one. And all of this is new to me. I'm going to skip ahead here just a little bit. Well, okay, so this Kildaric and Ogesus here, I think this is Clovis. I'm not certain about that, but I'm pretty sure that's Clovis. That's a definite Merovingian. And this is, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Kildaric is definitely a Merovingian. So they are both Merovingians, and that is where this video actually originally ended, was me explaining that. So I'm trying to head that off here because I would like to have it before that. But I did look it up, and they're definitely Merovingian. And again, I have that in multiple places, but I'm pointing it out because it's there as well. It's so interesting to be able to see your ancestors in a sculpture, like those statues. I mean, when you think about it, like nowadays, what would it take for someone to make a statue of you, right? It's pretty cool. I'm not saying they all did good things. I'm just saying it's pretty cool to be able to look at that and say, whoa, those are the people that I'm related to from way before. And I don't really know a whole lot about any of these people. I've seen a whole lot of ancient Roman stuff in the last 2 weeks that I didn't know was there, and I find it fascinating, but I will definitely have to do a lot of research to understand any of what I'm looking at. Another saint. And also, pretty soon here we're going to come to where Cleopatra's daughter is. And they have the wrong woman, I believe, listed as her mother, and I wasn't really clear on that at first. My mind wanted to say, well, it's probably not really Cleopatra's daughter, which is silly because of all the people that I've found for sure in my ancestry. Again, if you'd like to read that, feel free to pause it and read it. But I did some research about Cleopatra, and the girl, Cleopatra Selene, I think is her name, she is listed with her father being Mark Antony and a woman named Flavia, or Flavia. And that was one of his wives, but their children do not, when you look at a list of their children, it doesn't list anyone with the name of Cleopatra. And so it makes sense that while he was also married to Queen Cleopatra, that their daughter would be the one that was named Cleopatra. And when you Google it, it says that her mother is Cleopatra and her father is Mark Antony. So I think whoever wrote it in here put in the wrong mother for her. So I am fairly thoroughly convinced that it absolutely should be Cleopatra listed in that place when we get there. So that will be soon. And I wish I knew more about these people, but I'm discovering them as I'm documenting them, so I will need to look them up. And it's well worth it, because a lot of the times these names mean something that you would recognize, but you don't know it because they're written by somebody that speaks a different language or is from a different culture. But let's be honest, these names are confusing. So there is Cleopatra Selene II. And if you look to the lower right here, the first, I don't know how you say it, triumvir of Rome, that's Mark Antony. Okay, so here it will list, it shows that her parents are Mark Antony and Cleopatra over here to the right. And so that is supposed to be her mother. Now that's the woman they have listed as her mother, who was also one of his wives. But it doesn't make sense that she should be there. It makes sense that that should be Cleopatra, because he was also married to her, and they don't have a child named Cleopatra. So I did take the time to look that up while I was doing it, even though sometimes I'll glitch the page. I took the time to look it up because I felt that it was important to know whether or not a name that notable was actually, you know, involved. And I've looked up names that I didn't think were anybody that you would even know about, and found out it was somebody that's really well known. So I'm concluding that Cleopatra should be here where Fulvia is her name, is listed. No offense to Fulvia, I don't believe that she's that Cleopatra Selene's mother. I just think that whoever put her in there was a little bit confused about some stuff. So, again, more research is needed, but there's that. So we're going to skip ahead a bit here. And now, I've seen Gaius Julius Caesar II and III listed multiple times in my ancestry, but I have not seen Gaius Julius Caesar I, who is the actual Julius Caesar that you would know about. Well, you might know about these other ones too, because they were important, but they weren't the Caesar that you know of most prominently. Not sure why I'm doing that. I think the page was kind of having an issue. And skip ahead a little more here. This is Brutus. Oh, where did he go? Okay. This is actually the Brutus that you'd know about at 2 Brute. That's him. I just wanted to point that out. And I'm pretty sure we should be able to find more information about what goes here, but I don't have it at the moment. It just seems to me someone would know it. It doesn't seem that would be that hard to find. And I go into the Roman ancestry quite in depth. This this family line here, I'm not sure. I don't think I have these people before. I don't think those people are in the other branches where I have the Roman ancestry. I'm going to skip this ahead here. Just a little more. That picture's really cool. It's so neat to see those pictures. I will definitely be doing the best that I can to get those in there. It's time consuming to do it, but I will try to do it because it annoys me that that's cut off. It irks my Virgo midheaven that those are cut off that way. Oh. A lot of the times these things that are in the pop-ups are so interesting, so it's definitely well worth stopping to read them if you're at all interested in this type of stuff. Okay, this is where it pretty well ended